On a small scale, virtualization is just a bunch of virtual machines, some virtual servers running on physical hosts, lowering infrastructure's physical footprint. But as you start to grow more and more virtual machines, you start to understand the kinds of complex mechanisms that can bring your IT to an even higher level than it is today. Just by adding one more physical host to your environment, you could enable high availability. To give you an example, let's say you have 3 physical servers. You configure them as a high available cluster with 12 virtual servers, meaning 4 virtual servers per host. If one of those hosts was to go down, the 4 virtual machines that are running will be migrated to the remaining other 2 working physicals. Therefore, each running physical within the cluster would have 6 virtual machines instead of 4. VMware goes as far to allow you to even predetermine where virtual servers will migrate to if its physical was to fail. The cool thing is that if VMware notices that the load of one physical becomes too great, but let's face it, necessary to run the critical applications it supports, VMware would automatically allocate additional resources from another server within the cluster, choking the less critical machines. Mechanisms for both failover and performance load tracking are features that can occur automatically, helping to get a close to zero downtime as possible. To give you another example, let's say we have 4 physical servers, clustered in a primary data center such as New York, and a secondary set of 4 physical servers running in a disaster recovery location, let's say Texas. If a server within the New York cluster was to fail, one of its existing cluster members would assume its role. However, in the event of a natural disaster, the entire New York cluster could be configured using bit-to-bit replication to be brought up to run in Texas without data loss. Virtualization planning is so important and should be done prior to implementation, as there are so many advanced features that are beneficial, such as price bundles that can save you tons of money and helps to avoid the hassle of potentially redeploying or reconfiguring your environment. So once you start expanding virtualization, think of all the cool functionality you could use.